An airport seems pretty simple on the surface, right? You check in, you go through security, you board a plane, and you fly. But underneath all that is one of the most complex public spaces ever created. It's this incredibly intricate web of systems that just has to work perfectly 24/7. So, what's the secret sauce? How do they make it all run smoothly?
Well, think about the challenge airport planners are up against. It's monumental. They aren't just building for millions of travelers. They're trying to build for dozens of different airlines, powerful regulators, and all their own staff, all at the same time. Every single decision has massive consequences. So how in the world do they even begin to get it right?
And this is really the core of the problem. It's a giant puzzle of competing demands. The airlines, they want speed above all else. Get those planes in and out. The regulators, they're all about safety and compliance, no compromises. And us, the passengers, we just want a stress-free, predictable journey. Meanwhile, you've got architects and engineers trying to figure out how to physically build a space that can do all of that. Everyone is pulling in a different direction.
So, how do you solve a puzzle like that? The answer is something most people have never even heard of. It's a kind of secret blueprint called the Concept of Operations, or ConOps for short.
A ConOps is basically the airport's entire operational game plan. It's a document that's completely focused on the user experience, and it answers the biggest questions first. What does this airport need to do? Who is it for? And, this is the most important part, it figures all of this out before a single architectural drawing is finalized.
Yeah, this really breaks it down perfectly. A ConOps is absolutely not a technical blueprint or a detailed engineering report. It's the why and the what. It's a strategic guide, a narrative that explains the outcomes the airport needs to deliver. Think of it as the blueprint for how it runs, not just how it's built.
Honestly, this is the best way to think about it. The ConOps is literally the story of a perfect day at the airport. It describes how everything should feel and function, from the passenger's perspective, from the airline's perspective, and it's all written down before the first shovel ever hits the ground. That story then guides every single decision that comes after.
Okay, so we've got this story, this operational blueprint. How does that actually end up shaping the physical building? Let's take a look at how that vision becomes a reality.
The ConOps is the bridge that connects the dream to the reality. It starts with a huge, high-level goal like, we want to become a major global hub. Okay, great. That gets translated into an operating philosophy, maybe something like, we will have the fastest aircraft turnarounds in the region. That philosophy then dictates the super detailed processes for passengers, bags, and planes. And only then does all of that inform the final infrastructure design.
Let's make this super concrete. Say the ConOps decides that a key goal is minimal queues for passengers. I mean, we all want that, right? But what does that simple phrase actually mean for the physical building?
It means the design has to include specific things. You can't just hope for short queues. The building itself has to be designed for it. That means more automated check-in counters, way more physical space for people to move around, and the tech to actually monitor queues in real time. You see, the operational goal directly dictates the design requirements.
And a ConOps isn't some static document that just gets filed away. It's a living thing. It starts as a high-level vision, then it gets packed with more and more detail to guide the engineers, and finally it becomes what they call the operational Bible, the ultimate guide for training all the staff and running simulations before the big opening day.
So why is this blueprint so incredibly important? I mean, what happens if you try to build an airport without one? Well, to put it simply, you get chaos.
Building an airport on just assumptions and old habits leads to some unbelievably expensive mistakes. You know, things like massive check-in halls that are now half empty because everyone checks in online, or baggage systems that completely break down because no one properly planned for transfer passengers. A ConOps avoids all this by forcing every decision to be based on operational reality, not guesswork.
And the value here is just crystal clear. When you use a solid ConOps, planning errors go way down. The need for expensive redesigns plummets, and what goes up? The chance of having a smooth, successful operation right from day one.
But here's the real test of a great airport. Look, any airport can probably function when the sun is shining and everything's running on time. But a well-planned airport, one that's born from a strong ConOps, is built for resilience. It's designed to keep working even when things go wrong, on the bad days.
And at the end of the day, this all comes back to us, the passengers. That feeling you get when you glide through an airport, when the journey is seamless and stress-free, that's not an accident. It's the direct result of a plan, a ConOps, that decided years ago to prioritize things like predictable queues, clear signs, and getting your bags to you quickly.
If you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this right here. An airport built without a ConOps might look amazing. It might be an architectural masterpiece, but operationally, it's flying completely blind. It doesn't have the navigation it needs to get everyone where they need to go, smoothly and efficiently.
So, the next time you're walking through an airport terminal, just take a second and look around. You're not just standing in a building. You're standing inside a story. A complex, living story that was carefully planned and set in motion years before your trip even began.